Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join me. I've got my microphone here. I always try to keep it off camera, but sometimes I can't. Lately, things have just been a little bit weird for me, so it stays on camera right now. I hope everybody is having a beautiful Friday. It is Friday. If you're watching the replay, you may not be watching this on Friday, but for us live, it is Friday morning and we're coming into the weekend. I hope everybody has plans to do something that nurtures you over the weekend. It's so very important for us to just keep nurturing ourselves in the just constantly. We just really want to make sure that we're always taking care of ourselves and focusing on self-care. So if you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Evelyn Knight. I am the owner and founder of Childcare Business Professionals. And today we're going to be talking on one of the key elements through all the pillars that I've come up with that can help you to become more successful as a childcare business professional, right? And what it is research-based quality. I'm also going to be joined by a guest today as soon as she hops on, who's going to talk to you guys a little bit about the journey that my center went through, which is my director, Brandy. She actually has been with me now for, she's been with my center for almost 13 years, and she's been with me for almost 12 years. So I took over my center, my favorite center that I never will sell. I've purchased other centers. I've sold center and just closed them down. I've done a lot in my career, but my center that I'm currently out zoning around is the one that I will be with. It's just my baby. So that's probably the one that my children will inherit. So she's been with me since I purchased it. And so her and I are going to talk to you guys a little bit about that journey and the transformation. And if you've been listening to me for a while, you'll hear me say, I don't allow my staff to call our center a daycare. I don't allow parents, I don't allow anybody. I correct them. If anyone says, oh, it's your daycare, I always immediately correct them and say, no, I don't own a daycare. I don't have a daycare. I've worked very hard in my career to make sure that my center is not a daycare. If that is what you choose to own, that is totally up to you. But my center is a very high quality place for children to come where we nurture and we basically educate them, right? We're nurturing and educating. Daycare is a place where the children go to be watched. They really just go to be taken care of throughout the day, right? So that's where I always just say, this isn't a daycare. It takes a lot of hard work to run a childcare center or to run a preschool, which is what we are. We are both childcare and preschool, but we are not a daycare. So that is a really important distinction I want you guys to think about. But before I get into it, and while we're waiting for Brandy, I do want to tell you guys a little bit about my company. I feel like I would be doing you disservice if I didn't tell you the things that I have to offer for the general public out there. So my company, Childcare Business Professionals, it's my actually the third entity that I currently have going right now. I also have my podcast, the Childcare Business Coach podcast. So if you haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen. There's a lot more business tips and tricks in there. I have some great guests that I interview for my podcast. So for Childcare Business Professionals, I basically took my system, everything that I use at my center, and I formatted it and turned it into something that is duplicatable. So my classroom management, the things I use for classroom management, the things we use for employee management, everything, you guys, scheduling, you name it, all of the documents I've talked to you guys throughout this week, all about everything that I've just discussed with you, all of that I've basically put into a duplicatable kit, kind of, I guess you could say, that I help other owners and directors learn how to use. And that is all available through my membership program. In my membership, I'm also available. So you can pick my brain. We work together. I help you come up with your goals. I really, if you guys don't know, my background is actually in neurological psychology, and I'm also a certified life coach. So one of the things I also do is I really help you to see what is it that you want out of your program, right? What is it that you need to bring your vision, your life vision to fruition while making money and having a successful childcare center? So these are things that I put together, and this is basically how we do it, right? So I basically will coach you through using my program. I also have tons of training. I have a ton of training that's pre-recorded, already up in the my membership group that you can start watching from day one. It has a ton of tools to go with it. I basically have all my documents that you can just take them, replace my name and logo, and put your own in there. But with the trainings, I know that, again, and I told you guys in the beginning of the week, training is only effective if it comes with coaching. Only 3% of what people are trained on is ever actually implemented. So more important than training is coaching. And what's really important is that accountability. So one of the things I like to do is make myself and my company your accountability partner. So that is basically what I do. I will train you, but more importantly, I'm going to coach you, and I'm going to be your accountability partner to make sure that things are coming and falling into place. The other thing, as a life coach, I really help you to see, where are you? What do you want to do? And what do you want for your life, basically, right? And so, and for your center, just as a whole, what is going to fill your soul? What is your purpose? You guys know I'm a God girl, so I know that God has brought me. This is part of my ministry. It's what I help people save their childcare centers, and not just people who are struggling. I have some owners who've been in the field for 20 years, and they just wanted to take their center to the next level. Right? They're fine. Their centers are fine financially. They're set. They just really wanted to take things to the next level. They wanted to be that center that stands out. You're a category of one, right? Your center can be a category of one. And so those are some of my other clients. I have clients that just got tired of that revolving door with employees and children. They wanted that retention. They wanted to make it easier to manage their staff. They want to retire, but right now they're so involved in their center that they can't even retire, right? So one of the things I've done in the past, I've actually purchased centers that were basically falling apart, facing bankruptcy, flipped them, fixed them, and then I sold them, right? But I decided, instead of doing that, wouldn't it be better if I helped those owners? I help them to keep their dream alive and to have a successful center. I can help a lot more people, and I can reach my goal of just helping so many more children if I give you the tools you need and I coach you and walk you through that. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're ready to just stop struggling, if you're tired of being married to your center, if you feel like it controls your life and you never get to see your family, or if you are just really struggling to keep enrollment or retaining employees, let me know. Get a hold of me. I would love to chat with you and tell you how my program can help you. The last thing too, I'm just going to give you guys a quick pitch on is my conference. I'm so excited about my conference. I had a meeting about it yesterday. And so that is coming October 21st to the 24th. We're going to be really focusing on business practices. I want to make sure, as a childcare center owner myself, I hate going to conferences, and I feel like every session is a commercial that I'm just being sold to the whole time. And so what I want to do is bring you guys valuable content. I want to really not waste your time with just a bunch of sales pitches, right? I want to bring you valuable content, and I want to give you stuff that when you go back to your center Monday, you can actually use. You can actually implement things. There's things that you can actually really put into practice. So join me, and it's all business based. We're going to have people doing financial tracks. I have a childcare insurance expert coming in talking about insurance. I have people coming in, just business practices, HR, diversity, just a whole lot of different marketing your center, how to market your childcare center, just what do you need to run a really successful childcare center. And you'll get to meet me in person. I'm so excited to meet many of you guys in person. I just did an interview with Scott Wayman from Kangaroo Time, and we were talking about how we're in a huggers industry. And that's one of the nice things about trade shows is we get to actually meet you guys in person. So I hope you guys can join. I'll make sure to put the link up so you can see where to sign up for the conference. We're going to have so much fun. And then one of the other things too is you guys work really hard. And during this time of COVID, we've been just so cooped up. One of my goals for the conference is to have fun. So we are planning a trip up to Lake Tahoe. The conference actually is in Reno, Nevada, but Lake Tahoe is only about a 30-minute drive for us. So I'm actually going to take a couple of my vans that I have for Zoom Around, and we're going to go up to Lake Tahoe. We're going to take you guys up there and just have a really fun day. And then on Sunday, if you can still stick around, I'm going to bring you to my childcare center, Zoom Around. And for those of you who can still stick in to there for Sunday. So the conference itself is happening Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday. That's where the learning is going to happen. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're just going to network and have fun. We're just going to be together, network. You can meet some of the other industry leaders like Prainer Richards, Raoul Berry, Corey Berg. Those are some of the people that'll be joining me. So we're all going to actually get to meet each other and sit together live in person. So I hope you guys can make it. I'm so excited about it. And let me make sure I turn on my comments. Say hi as you pop in and let me know that you're here and where you're coming from. I'm going to bring Brandy on with us right now. And her and I are basically going, I'm going to have her walk you through the steps that we took through our center, the transformation we went through. We kind of, the way, when her and I were talking about it, we just came up with the fact that we kind of went through a 3-phase system, right? Or a 3-phase transformation, I should say. And we're going to talk about how that went and the differences that it's made for us. Hi, Kimberly. How are you? Ooh, from Michigan. Nice. Okay, here. Hello, Brandy. So
good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Michelle's on, Brandy.
Good morning, Michelle.
Those of you guys who know, Brady is my director, and there she is at my beautiful center there. She's, I should say our center. It's definitely our center. So Brady, today I told you we are talking about the transformation we've gone through, and you've been at Zooin since day one. Earlier in the week, I told everybody how Zooin, when I first, Zooin was first built, it's a beautiful building, and it was my competition actually. And it was very intimidating for me in the beginning because here this beautiful building came up and it cost, gosh, it was more than 3 times what the center I had built had cost. And the center I built was only about 18 months at the time. It was about 18 months old when Zooin opened. But after touring it and talking to the owner a little bit, I realized, okay, in the beginning, this center is going to be competition because it is the new shiny penny. It's beautiful. But, and I figured over time, they're not going to be competition for me because they aren't a high quality program. So let's talk a little bit about the 3 phases we've gone through, or that you've gone through. I wasn't with you through phase 1. I've been with you through phase 2 and 3. So in the beginning, when it was under the first ownership, what was it like for you? And like, talk about like the quality aspect there.
So at the time I wasn't trained in quality, so I thought we were rock stars. But really now I know we were just glorified babysitters. Our infants, we kept them in bouncy swings. We had a lot of inappropriate materials. Nothing was developmentally appropriate. We weren't big on child-teacher interactions. We used verbiage like no, stop, which today I know is just very hurtful for children. So yeah, it was just babysitting. We were way overstaffed. The staff wasn't, we had no background in ECE. My only background, even though I was hired on as the assistant director, my only background was I ran an in-home center. So it was a very casual setting. So the owner at the time didn't have any knowledge or experience in ECE. So we just kind of winged it every day and had a good time. We had TVs in all the classrooms, movie time every day. So yeah, it was not quality by any means.
So I can tell you, some of you out there are saying like, well, that doesn't sound bad to me. I don't understand what was wrong with that, right? There's some of you out there who it might resonate, and you might be thinking, I don't know what's wrong. Why is it not? I mean, when Brandy says things like we had swings in the classroom, we had bouncy seats in our infant area, and we have TVs in the classroom. Some of you are looking around saying, oh, well, I have all of that. So, but let's talk about like one of the things that you said. And one of the first things I noticed when I took over Zoom is you guys were very overstaffed, right? And I'll qualify you for those of you watching. Keep in mind, the center when I was taking it over was going bankrupt. It was facing bankruptcy, and payroll is probably the number one thing I see bankrupting owners is that they're just not knowing how to manage scheduling and payroll. But you also said it was a very casual environment. What do you think is the difference in why has it changed? Why? So back then, I think you would agree with me that Zoom wasn't a very professional place, right? So what do you think is the difference?
Now?
Yeah.
Now we want to make a change in the ECE community. Now we want to prove that it's an actual profession and not just a casual atmosphere. There's a reason why we do what we do.
Right. So we have a vision, right? We have a mission.
Absolutely.
We're on a mission. So that kind of goes back to what I was telling you guys all week long, that the power of that vision. So me bringing my vision to Zoom and the mission that we're on has completely transformed this place from a daycare. It was a daycare to the preschool it is today. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, definitely.
So we went through a second transition. I think from the time I came into Zoom, I would say it was definitely a daycare. When I came in, I think I taught you that, okay, we are not going to be a daycare. We are not a daycare. We are a child care center. And I did bring a next level of quality, but we weren't quite there yet, right? So that second transition, let's talk a little bit about that and how even though it was better quality, it still wasn't what we are today. So what is your experience there, you think?
So the first day I worked with you, I remember I came in and I wasn't sure what to do, like just nervous, new owner, not sure what you really expected. And I remember you telling me, if you're not sure what to do, get on the floor with the children and play with the children. That was like a huge shocker to me because we were always into the busy work, keeping the beautiful building beautiful, like, I don't know, play on our cell phones, do whatever, right? So when you said that, I knew it was going to be different. But we still had large group sizes.
Yes.
Busy work was still a priority for some teachers, but we also had a curriculum specialist at the time. I don't remember what her exact title was back then. It's been a few years.
Yes.
But so when I was introduced to curriculum, that was another time when I realized that we were in for a change. And I was game. I wanted to know. I wanted to do what's best for the center. I always think that I represented Zoom in a positive way. So I wanted to be known in town as the center to be at. So I was willing to take the next step.
Right. So we did go to a second level of quality because I did basically prioritize the children. I made sure, and I can tell you from my perspective, when I came into Zoom, the furniture, it was set up to be pretty. It wasn't set up to be what was best for the children. And it was set up to really just, I don't know, it was almost like a trophy, right? When you say like it wasn't, the children were not the priority. Absolutely not.
It was completely show. So when parents come in, and unfortunately parents really don't know what they are looking for when they're looking for childcare. So they just see pretty, and that's where they want their children to be. They don't care if there's curriculum on the wall, or they don't care if staff is, they want the new and improved materials in the classroom, what we see. Yes. And that's to me, that's not, well, knowing now, that's not what's quality
Right.
and what's
It's
best
not
for the
quality.
children.
Right.
Mhm.
But what ends up happening, and yes, it is the beautiful shiny penny. Yes,
Mhm.
I know, like when you guys came in, you were wearing uniforms. It was like so
Mhm.
cohesive. It looked
We had
beautiful
logos
on the
on our butt.
You had logos on your butt. That's right. The
Yes.
butt, the sweatpants you guys had actually had the logo on the butt. But
Yes.
I think what I realized when I actually had toured and met Katie was that, I just realized that I knew it wasn't going to be competition after a while. I knew there was going to be an initial period where there was competition, but I also
Right.
knew that because of the lack of standards, but what ended up happening is you would have a revolving door and that children were going to leave. And when I took over, that's exactly what had been happening. A lot of the children had been leaving and coming to my center. And so in the beginning, I did lose children because it was this beautiful building. But then the problem is the retention. That is what became the problem. So even though parents are not educated on quality and they will pick what looks the prettiest at the time, it will shine through eventually. And what ends up happening is that center will lose the children. And then over time, it's going to gain a bad reputation and you won't get the
It's
enrollment.
just a drill. The fire people are here, so they're setting up the drill.
Oh,
right
okay.
now.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We're doing our, that's the one you get to ignore.
Yes.
So and now then we went through, I think, a third phase where I think, and this is where I had to do a transformation myself also, where I thought when I came into Zoon, I came in and it was a daycare, no quality. But I had the people there, and I still have some of the same original staff, right? There's still a couple of girls left who were there before me. And then I still have some that came from my other center over to Zoon with me. Well, I did raise the quality to a next level, but we still weren't there yet. We still were not the high quality. And I can tell you guys, the reason we weren't is because I thought I knew quality. I had an ECE degree. I had experience, but I didn't know what research-based quality looks like. So when I tell you guys high quality standards, I always say research-based high quality because we think one thing is quality, but it really isn't. So let's talk a little bit about our third transformation to go where we are today, and how did we change during that transformation?
So that's when Nevada introduced QRIS, and we decided to participate because we knew we weren't exactly quality. We knew we were good.
We knew something was missing.
Yeah, exactly. There was definitely a missing puzzle piece. So we started working with QRIS. We had the coach come in, and I remember just being dumbfounded because at the time we ran state ratios, and QRIS comes in and tells us group sizes, and we had to lose a large number of children to meet these group sizes. And we're like, we're never going to be able to afford this. Like, this is not okay. But we kept our mouths shut for a little bit, and then we just went along with the process, and we worked with the coach one-on-one. She was amazing. And the swings went away, the bouncy seats went away. The way we talked to the children changed. They discouraged the word no, knock it off, stop it. And they want to hear the behavior that you expect, the reason why. And so language just naturally build. The way you set up your classroom, we were taught like proper ways to set up classrooms, or I don't know if it's proper because everybody has their way of setting up classrooms, but positive ways of setting up classrooms that encourage children to naturally spread apart, where you can actually see your classroom as the invisible teacher. Because if you have the right number of materials and the room is set up properly, there's very little behavior issues, which then you could see like the teacher's shoulders come down a little bit. You know, it was a more relaxing environment, less behavior issues with the children. It's just, it was beautiful. I mean, we've done it, I think we've been assessed 3 times now. So it's been 6 years that we've been working with them. And just to see it evolve has just been beautiful.
Amazing.
And
yeah.
We can't afford it. We can't afford it because now our wait list is forever long.
Yeah.
I'm trying to encourage her to build another center next door so we can take this wait list.
We're working on it.
We're trying.
We see that land.
But it's beautiful. I think staff retention has been wonderful because of it. We maintain our staff. We do have, we have some old school teachers that fought the process, who weren't necessarily open-minded, but we again tell them that this is what's best for the center, and this is how we want to run our center. Yes, and it's exactly, children always come number one, and it's just so beautiful to see. Like, I remember we used to have 12 to 16 infants in a classroom with 2 teachers, and it was just survival. We just survived every day. We thought we were rock stars. But when we started working with QRIS, I just remember helping the teachers one day and sitting back, feeding a child. I had the chance to sit and feed the child and make the eye contact and play with them. And then you see the teacher on the floor with no children in bouncy seats. They're exploring, and the teachers are interacting with them. And that's when it just hit me like, this is what we need. Yes, this is quality. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I love the story you tell. Oh gosh, it just actually came in and out of my brain that quickly. But I love what you're saying too about the bouncy seats, because I can tell you, for me as an owner, it was terrifying. And I know you and I both, as a director, it was terrifying for you. Now, at the time I was the owner and director, you were my assistant director, but the director in me and the owner in me were both terrified all at once when they told us, you need to get rid of any contraption that holds a baby in. Swings, everything, you guys.
Well, we had that table.
We had the giant table that many of you guys probably have with 6 babies in it at once. They told us we need to get rid of that. And it was really scary. We're like, well, what are they going to do with the babies? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But it's amazing how
they're going to be on the floor.
We're going to be on the floor. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And it is amazing though, how when we put everything into play and that puzzle was put together, how we don't need any of that. I mean, it's been years. It has been, I think, probably about 4 or 5 years since we've had a swing, a bouncy chair, any of that kind of stuff, any kind of thing that holds a baby in the classroom. And you're absolutely right. Our quality is 10 times better without all of that. And you don't. So for those of you guys watching, you don't need that stuff. You don't. It's not quality. And it really is a crutch.
Touch is the quality.
Yeah, being there on the floor, teachers on the floor with the children. And so it's interesting, I would say, because how would you say that has affected you as a director and the teacher's job load?
I'm more hands-on, I want to say, in classrooms, because one of the things that I take pride in is classroom observations. I managed to observe each classroom once a month and provide coaching and feedback. And so I think it really has helped me and staff get on the same page of what we're expected and what's best for the children. It's more of a team. Like, they know they have support for the classroom, because I want the best in the classroom and I want them to be able to have the stuff to provide the best classroom. So, and it's a competition. Like, when it's time to be assessed, I'm in the classrooms all the time, and I make it a competition against them. And they know, like, we are not allowed to score less than a 5. That's what Evelyn expects. We can provide the 5-star quality, and we do provide the 5-star quality.
We do.
And so I make it a competition, and you can score as high as 7. And I really love the ITers, the infant toddlers, and the fact that my infant class scored almost a 6-star out of 7 is phenomenal for me. Like, I brag about them all the time. It's just, I love being before it's just shuffling paperwork and enrolling children, and that was my focus. But now it's quality for each classroom, even the age group that I wasn't comfortable with. Like I was not comfortable with the preschoolers, but taking this position, I had to learn to love them as well. And so I've been able to turn those classrooms into quality-based too. And I love it. I just take so much pride in how I manage the classrooms and how the staff can respond to it.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I would say that, yes, absolutely. The standards that I hold my staff to. So for those of you guys, what I would advise you in leadership is you have to set that standard high. When your staff understands your vision and your mission, and they absolutely understand the power of what you're trying to do in the world, then you can set those higher standards and they're going to rise to the occasion. I would say our staff takes absolute pride in our classrooms, and they know that when they go around town, they can be proud to say that they are teachers at Zoo and Around. They don't have to be embarrassed by the center they work at. So like, if you guys are my Facebook friend, you saw the pictures I posted about the parade. My staff volunteers. Those are all volunteers that come out and walk the parade because they are proud to walk with our center's flow in the parade and be a part of our child care center but that is all the vision, right? So those high quality standards. So for those of you guys who want to get to that next level, what I would say is look into your state. See if you guys have a quality rating program. We use the Itters and the Eckers. I'll put the link in the show notes. The other thing I can tell you guys is Prana Richards and I have teamed up. We are now offering a joint membership. So if you guys know who Prana is just an absolute classroom guru. Brandy also is a coach that can provide help. I see Michelle is on here right now, and I'm going to actually show you Brandy. She has a comment. So Michelle is one of our clients that is working. So Michelle is actually working with Brandy. She's one of our clients. She's working with Brandy, and Brandy's actually coaching her to help her get to her center to the next level. So my members, you guys have lots of opportunities to work with me, Brandy, Prana, different experts in this area. I would love to be able to do a training in 1 hour to help you guys learn how, but when it comes to transforming your classrooms, that is something that's going to take a lot of coaching.
It's taken us 13 years, and we still feel there's more we can do. Like we know we're way better off than what we were 13 years ago, but there's always room to improve, and we're always looking for that next.
And we always need. One of the things I realized, I think when we got our coach, I realized is when we walk through our center, we see the same thing every single day, right? So what ends up happening is you stop seeing it. You become so accustomed to seeing it that you don't see it anymore. And you don't notice things, and it's so easy to miss things. So even though we're definitely at a point where we can train on this, we can coach on this, we have definitely become experts in this area. When you're in it every day, you stop seeing it. So we still need the accountability, and we still need those outside eyes to come in and see what we don't see. It's the same reason a therapist can't provide therapy for themselves or their own family, right? Because when you're in so deep, there's a lot of things you've got to have somebody outside your bubble looking in. A lot of times you can't see what's inside your bubble. So that's where coaching is so important. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is coaching. Since we're here, we're coaches, we try to help other people. I don't think we could have made the transformation without hiring a coach. Do you agree?
No, not at all. Not at all.
We had just the most extraordinary coach. And we were blessed. So let's talk about our experience working with her. How do you think she made a huge difference for you? Why was coaching so pivotal for you in order for us to become successful?
Oh, first of all, she knew the field. I think that's what you really have to, you need someone who knows what it's like to be in a classroom. And she didn't talk down to us. She became part of our team. She bonded with all the staff. She literally would take me by the hand and show me like what she was looking for in quality. And as much as Evelyn came in and wanted to take Zoom to the next level, I don't think I'd be where I am today if we didn't go through that process. So it was needed. Yeah, she knew what she was. Yeah, she knows what developmentally appropriate practices look like in person. And I was taking every ECE class online, right? And I was acing these classes. But to have somebody show me in person, that's what makes all the light bulbs go off and put the two and two together. The coaches are just there for support and help you reach the goals that you want. She knew we wanted quality, and she walked us through it and got us there. Right. And even though she left the company, unfortunately, sad day. But and I have other coaches, but I still listen to her voice in my head more than I listen to the new coaches,
because it was that pivotal coach, right? Mm-hmm. And I can tell you guys, it's kind of, as a trainer myself and a coach, there's a lot of times where I would be, it's kind of funny to me because we do work with several other organizations still at Zoon, and there's trainings that I have done that literally I will have someone else go and do. I actually trained the taxi program. I'll have another trainer come in and train the exact same thing and then coach on the exact same thing that I've been doing and training and coaching on for years. And suddenly when this other person comes in, my staff is like, wow, that's amazing. But I'll tell you, one of the reasons coaching is so important is because it's just like your children, right? We can say things until we're blue. But when somebody else comes in and says the same thing, suddenly people listen. It's because you guys have heard my voice for so many years. When I first came in, it was something new. But honestly, people do stop listening, right? So as a supervisor or manager, I can come in and tell you guys something, and you're going to listen, you're going to do it. But as a trainer, I can only do so much before it's going to be like, okay, I don't hear it anymore. Now, as a coach, I'll always be effective. As a mentor, I'll always be effective. But as a trainer, that's a little bit different. So that's where coaching, you guys, is. And the other thing too, I think the most key piece to coaching is having someone come in who is outside your bubble. That is huge because, again, like I said, when I'm there every day, I stopped seeing things. I stopped noticing. And you need someone with an outside perspective. You need that other perspective and to consider things that you may not have considered. If you guys are ever rearranging your classrooms, you know that sometimes that can be so hard because you see it one way and it's so hard to see it any other way. And I know we've been in the situation where we've just been like, it's been so hard. We know a change needs to be made. We can't put our finger on it. So we've taken all the furniture out of the room. I mean, literally the room just to start over because there's no other way. But when you have a coach, they can easily come in and just tell you, well, have you tried this and this? And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, we can't coach in person, but we can virtually. I mean, I have coached with some of my members where they've taken their cell phones and walked around their classrooms and shown me things, and I've helped them with ideas and room arrangement ideas and whatnot, just based on just virtually. We can do a lot virtually. So, oh yes, Michelle says husbands don't listen either. I totally agree. That's a whole other subject we could talk about for hours, right? Brandy and I have both been married for very, very long. So
yes.
Our kids, our husbands, our staff, sometimes, and I'll tell you as a coach myself too, Brandy and I both, we've actually been involved in some of our clients' staff meetings where, we will be brought in via Zoom. I can come in same like this. And we've actually jumped into people's staff meetings and been I've said these things in staff meetings because a lot of times, again, as managers, when you have that outside voice coming in, it just validates what you've been saying. And suddenly people start to listen. So if you want to work with Brandy, me, any of my team, let me know. I'd be happy to jump on a call with you guys. I am available this afternoon to take calls, and I would love to talk to you guys more about being a part of our membership. Brandy, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I want to add that I don't think that you need a coach forever, because I am extremely confident in the way I manage and run the quality in the classrooms. And the staff, for some reason, they react differently. When I have my director hat on, they can push boundaries, or they try to push boundaries or whatnot. But when I go in there and I'm doing observations and I'm providing feedback, they sit there with notepads and they will take notes and they will implement the changes that I want to see. And then we go back 2 weeks later and ask for feedback. And then we see what's working and what's not. So even the staff, when they see that the quality is in the classroom by everything that we've implemented, when I go in with my coaching hat, they truly respond and they want to do what's best.
Yes, I 100% agree. You do not need to, and that's why my program is designed to be a 1-year program. It isn't, it doesn't take forever. I also want to let you guys know, though, that it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. There is no overnight changes. You have to ease your staff into it. It is a lot. I mean, my coaching program is going to help you learn how to transform your managerial system so that you actually have systems, right? And I think that's one of the biggest differences we made in the chaos that was at Zooin, is just bringing those policies, procedures, systems in place, holding people accountable. Just they actually know what we expect out of them, really. So again, if you want to work with one of us, let me know. I'd be happy to chat with you guys. And thank you so much for joining me today, Brandy.
You're welcome.
And we hope everybody has a great
day.
Bye.
Bye.
See, there we go.